Hello, Beastista here, and this is week one of the VDL. I am playing the Old English Eiscue. So this is what the matchup looks like. So looking into this team on my opponent's side, some of the very big things to look out for is that Galarian Zapdos is very hard for my team to deal with in the general sense. I don't have it hits everything on my team for super effective because it learns fire and fly-in moves, and that basically hits everything on my team for at least, or for almost everything on my team for super effective. And in addition to that, after one airstream, it can outspeed everything on my team. In addition to that, Lycanroc, because I have a lot of rock weaknesses, is very scary. Tapu Koko and Raichu it can't be a scary elite because it has Fake Out, and Tapu Koko, tries to get Fake Out, but also in addition to that, Raichu gets the ability Electric Surge, which allows it, or Surfer, to allow it to double its speed on electric terrain, which allows it to outspeed Pheromosa, which can be very relevant. So, for example, if I lead Pheromosa in something else and I lead Raichu Tapu Koko, they could Electroweb and then whatever Brave Bird and kill Pheromosa with a double up pretty easily. Raboot, I wouldn't be surprised if it came because it's only fire Pokemon. Quillfish, I wouldn't be surprised it came for Intimidate, but it's not super exciting damage wise. Appleton and Reuniclus aren't super exciting because they are mainly Trick Room Sweepers, in which I have slower Trick Room Sweeper and Escavalier. But in addition to that, they both have weaknesses to Bug, in which, as you can tell, I have 11 Bug Pokemon. So they're not the most exciting one. I could see an argument to bring specifically Reuniclus because it does learn the move Imprison, and so can imprison my Trick Room. And that's something I'm a little bit concerned with, and I kind of needed to play around a little bit. So going on that, on my side, we see that Escavalier and Dodler are very good because Escavalier is slower than both the Trick Room Sweepers, and is very powerful, and Trick Room seems very important, or seems very good in this matchup, and that's what Dodler is there for. And so given the fact that I don't expect to see Appleton, and Reuniclus I don't expect it to be a sweeper, if it's brought at all, it would probably be in prison. I expect Vikable to be very good too, because it's likely going to be the slower than anything on my opponent's team, and in addition to that, it doesn't have the 4 times we get the Vikable does, and it also can't be intimidated from Quillfish. So from there, the other things that are noteworthy is Volcarona with Rage Powder seems very important this week because I don't think there's a way in which I can set up Trick Room very effectively without Volcarona support because Dynamax, Life Orb, Zapdos can basically kill Dodler no matter what. Dynamax, Life Orb, Lycanroc can basically kill Vikavolt, Vikavolt can kill Dodler no matter what, and so I kind of need the redirection support. Other than that, nothing super exciting except for Pheromosa. So Pheromosa is faster than everything on my team. The only thing that can outspeed it is specifically Raichu in electric terrain, and so it does do some nice things there. I considered a couple of other Pokemon, and but for the most part, those are the only ones I considered super important. So now going on my team, I ended up going with a Volcarona with Charty Berry. The main reason to give it a Charty Berry is because I wanted to be able to survive like rock slides or stone edges from specifically a non-Dynamax Lycanroc. And that's kind of the idea. So I can pair it with Dodler here, so Dodler can set up Trick Room. Dodler just max defense, or max bulk, I mean. It has Reflect, deal with physical moves, Trickle Bug to deal with special moves, Trick Room and Protect. Protect is really important on both of these because of the possibility of them leading Fake Out. Next, we went with Escavalier with Fake Out, with Bug, Steel, Ground, and Water coverage. This is everything on the team for super effective. The water coverage helps with setting up the rain to help deal with its 4 times weakness to fire. I considered giving this instead of an Assault Vest an Occaberry, but in testing, fire moves don't really ever kill Escavalier in one shot, but they almost always kill Escavalier in 2 shots, and so it didn't really change any of the roles to give it an Occaberry, so I just decided to give it an Assault Vest to, hedge the bets against some of that stuff. Pheromosa, we get Protect to deal with Fake Out. Speed Swap, it's most likely going to be led with Pheromosa Escavalier or Pheromosa Vicavolt and just give them a fast lead so we don't have to set up Trick Room. Close Swap Triple Axle makes Pheromosa hit anything on the team for at least neutral damage. Vicavolt, we gave it a Life Orb. The reason we gave it a Life Orb is because Max Lightning with a Life Orb guarantees kills Dynamax Zapdos unless Zapdos is wearing an Assault Vest. Then we got some coverage moves. The important thing to note is Max Steel is going to give me defense boost, and Max Ground here is going to give me special defense boost, and that's going to be the main reason I might be leaning towards those if I don't think I'm going to be able to get it one shot. And finally, Golisopod. It's not the most exciting. I gave it a Wakan Berry to guarantee survive a rising voltage from Raichu in electric terrain. Other than that, first impression is very good at just getting very good damage to something that would otherwise be hard to deal with because it's a +2 priority. And Aqua Jet and Sucker Punch also kind of give me priority, so I don't need to worry if it's inside or outside of Trick Room. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, and we can go to our match. So here is our match. So first thing that I find noteworthy when I look at this team that on my opponent's side is that it doesn't have Raichu, which is very nice. And so looking at that, I'm like, oh, that means nothing outspeeds my Pheromosa. And that's why I immediately said, okay, I'm going to do Pheromosa Vicavolt. And so I'm debating here if maybe I should just do Volcarona Dottler instead and do the full Trick Room mode. And so I'm just thinking, I'm like, what could they possibly do to punish the Pheromosa Vicavolt lead? And I'm like, I feel like it's pretty safe. Like, the only thing would be some really, something I didn't really expect. And so I went with that and decided to go to the match. So this is definitely a little bit nervous of a match. This is my first match in the league. And also, this is my first time I ever drafted a monotype team. Okay, so they led with Zapdos, Lycanroc, which is a pretty scary lead, but not the worst. And I led Pheromosa Vicavolt. So I'm just sitting. So the first thing I do is like, okay, Pheromosa outspeeds both these Pokemon, and Lycanroc doesn't have any priority moves, and Zapdos doesn't have any priority moves. So I should be able to very good chance that Pheromosa doesn't die right here, because only one of them can have a Choice Scarf, and so I'm like, okay, I guess Speed Stop seems pretty safe. And then from here, I'm like, okay, do I want a Lightning Bolt or Max Steel Spike? I can guarantee kill Zapdos, or I can hit Lycanroc. I said, okay, I think Lycanroc is the bigger threat, because I can always one-shot even Dynamax Zapdos. Okay, so they get Dynamax. I'm honestly expecting this to be Zapdos, but it ends up being Lycanroc, which isn't too surprising, but, you know, it makes sense to a certain extent, because, you know, Max Rock Ball does hit pretty much everything on my team for pretty good damage. And so, yeah, I decided to Dynamax my Vicavolt. Like I said, Vicavolt is pretty good here. It should be able to die. Max Steel Spike should be able to kill a Dynamax Lycanroc outside of the sand. So if I can get damage off first. But then we see Zapdos has dual Wing Teeth, which I honestly did not prepare for in the slightest, and that is probably my fault. So I was expecting a Brave Bird there, if it was Choice Scarf, or if it's not a Choice Scarf, I'm completely good. I completely didn't think about dual Ring Big, and I got entirely punished for this, and probably lost the game because I didn't think about that. Max Rock Ball does a bunch of damage. You know, not surprising it does a bunch of damage, but definitely a little bit sad. And then now I get the Max Steel Spike, and it has a Babri Berry out, which means that this turn went completely terribly for me, and I'm pretty sure this game is already over. So, definitely at this point is the point in which I'm like, okay, well, thinking about game 2 already, because that would have been as badly as possible. My Vicavolt, there's nothing I can do to prevent it from dying, and so I'm just like, okay, maybe Volcarona with Rage Powder here. If they can survive a dual Wing Beat from Zapdos, then I have an opportunity to be able to kill Lycanroc, and then maybe I can do some stuff from there. So I just need, the hope is that this survives Dual Ring Break. So I'm doing a damage calc right here to see what the likelihood that Zapdos can kill Volcarona. And I identify that it is exactly a 50% chance that Zapdos Dual Ring Break kills Volcarona. And it's a little bit better than 50% because there's a chance that Zapdos gets burned after the first hit because of my Volcarona's Flame Body. So we're hoping for a low roll or a burn. Didn't get the burn, didn't get the low roll, and it killed me. So that's a 50-50 roll, like I said, a little bit better than 50 because the possibility of being burned from Flame Body. And then now, the Max Rockfall definitely 100% kills, and this game is over. So this went terribly. We learned some items from my opponent's side. We know that they have Bad Berry on the Lycanroc. We know they have Choice Scarf on the Zapdos. And so now, it's definitely just time to think about Game 2 strategy. I definitely don't think that my lead from Game 1 is going to be any good. And so, yeah, I'm just debating on what move is the, best to reveal to give the least information on. I'm like, I don't know, Sucker Punch, Aqua Jet First Impression. I probably should have gone with First Impression because it's pretty obvious that First Impression is going to be on my Golisopod, but maybe the others aren't, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of mentally thinking about my strategy for Game 2 right here. I'm thinking about Volcarona, Dot Learn lead, thinking about what Trick Room Pokemon is the best. And so from there, yeah, I did some damage to Lycanroc. You can see how much damage it does. It does a reasonable amount, but not too much. You can see how much Wing Bleed is. I can definitely take a dual Wing Bleed from Zapdos, but yeah. And then Lycanroc gets the kill. So from there, we kind of get into Game 2. So from here, my Game 2 strategy, Dollar Volcarona with Vikavolt and Excalibur both in back. These are my Trick Room Sweepers and my Trick Room set. So the idea is that I'm very likely to be able to get up Trick Room if Dual Wing Break does the low roll and I survive, if they lead the same lead. And then in addition to that, I should be okay even if it does kill us because Lycanroc is not a Life Orb variant. So they end up leading with the same exact lead, which is good. I feel pretty good. And we have Volcarona Dottler. I feel like I have a very good chance to be able to take to be at an advantage state after turn 1. So the obvious play is Trick Room, Rage Powder. Optimally, I survive a Dual Wing Break from Zapdos. If I don't, then basically we just hope that we don't get crit by Lycanroc, because I should be able to take anything that's not a crit from Lycanroc, because it's not Life Orb. And they don't Dynamax, which I don't know if I prefer or not prefer, but it's fine. So Dual Ring Break, we see that it looks like they got the roll, and they got the roll, survive exactly at 1 life, which is nice. And then they Stone Edge, which is in particular nice. So my Dollar took literally 0 damage turn 1, and I traded Volcarona for Trick Room, which I would definitely consider advantageous for me, because I definitely would prefer to have Trick Room up than having one more Pokemon. And so now, I definitely feel like I'm in a good spot. And so the question is Escavalier or Vikavolt the best pick? It's very close. Escavalier does a lot of damage and can set up stab steel moves. Vikavolt can easily kill Dynamax Zapdos, but it takes a lot of damage from a Dynamax Lycanroc. So I'm kind of debating here. Definitely running out of time. I'm just thinking about what's the best, and I honestly still don't know if I ever picked the right one. So I just decided to go with Escavalier. I'm like, whatever. I like Escavalier better. It looks
It looks cooler in my opinion. So I'm expecting, honestly, a Protect or switch out from Lycanroc and Zapdos. It's locking dual Ring Break, and I don't care about it. So the plan is to set up a Reflect, and then to do some damage into the Lycanroc spot. If it doesn't switch, it dies. If it doesn't protect, or if it doesn't protect, it dies. And so I'm just gonna do Max Steel Spike to get my defense boost up, get the Reflect for the defense boost. I don't really care if it switches out or protects. I just want the defense boost and some damage. Especially in Quillfish, which is honestly not surprising. I expected that more or less. And so they also end up switching out the Zapdos, which doesn't surprise me, but a little bit more. And so they brought Quillfish and Raboot in the back, which is definitely noteworthy. Intimidate on Quillfish is definitely something I probably should have considered, and maybe should have favored bringing out Spikeable for that exact reason. Spikeable does do very good damage to it, and now my Escavalier is definitely not going to do nearly as much damage. But we do a reasonable amount of damage into the Quillfish. You know, not good, but not bad damage. More importantly, we get one special defense boost, or one physical defense boost on Escavalier, and then we get the Reflect up. And so now our team is incredibly bulky, which is very good. And so now I decided to just, attack Quillfish with the Psychic and attack with the Max Geyser into Raboot. I think this is a pretty good chance to kill, but I'm not positive. I haven't really done the plus -1 calcs onto Raboot. That's something I didn't do in my practices. But my main thought was, if it doesn't kill, I would like to get the rain up. So Quillfish is still protecting. We get the Max Geyser. Like I said, I would hope this kills, but if not, like I said, it at least makes like Pyro Ball do less damage. Ends up not killing, but like I said, I got the rain up, which is an important thing to do in the general sense. And then Psychic gets into the Protect. And then Raboot bulks up, which honestly surprising. I think Raboot is good into my team, but I don't know if it's going to be able to take a lot of hits good and make bulk up worth it. So from here, I'm like, okay, Psychic into Quillfish. It almost kills it, and then I said, okay, Max Steel Spike should kill Raboot even through Protect. So I'm gonna get the defense boost because I want my Escavalier to be really bulky. They went through a Quillfish, which is fine, but they did a Zapdos, which I think this was not optimal. I think they should have done Lycanroc if they were doing one of these, but because so they ended up protecting Raboot. But what we're gonna see here is that we're gonna end up killing the Raboot with a Steel Spike, getting our second defense boost, and this Psychic into Zapdos is gonna do a little bit under 50%, I think. But this does a lot of damage into the Zapdos, and Zapdos being a Choice Scarf, we know that it's not going to have Protect. So my Dynamax is officially over though. I've only killed one Pokemon, but I've gotten 2 defense boosts. So not as good as I would like, but definitely not terrible position. I'd say I'm still think I'm in an advantage position. I feel a little bit sad because I feel like if that was Vikavolt this game, I would 100% would have been dominating. And so I'm thinking game 2, I want to replace this Escavalier with Vikavolt if I had the same situation again. So here I said, I'm thinking, okay, I'm pretty sure I can kill Zapdos with a double up. I'm just checking to see. And so I decided to go for the double up to kill Zapdos. I'm checking to see like if at -2 I need to use Razor Shell instead because of its benefit, but they bring out Quillfish because they really want my Escavalier to do no damage. I definitely think there's an opportunity for me to switch out Escavalier, but I really want to kill the Zapdos. And the Iron Head and Psychic double up is definitely enough to kill it. So now we're here in the Trick Room's up. They have 2 Pokemon up, I have 3 Pokemon up, and my Escavalier is now at -3 attack. And Side is doing almost no damage. So there's an argument to take it out here. However, at this moment I'm checking to see how much damage Volt does to a Dynamax Lycanroc. And it's not doing enough damage for me to feel safe to switch it in. I cannot one-shot a Dynamax Lycanroc unless it's at like 80, 75%. And so the plan is to set up Trick Room and just to get some damage out on the Lycanroc. In addition, so at this point, my plan is I have 2 Pokemon with +2 defense, and I'm able to get Reflect up at any point I want. So the plan is to set up, or to stall out this Dynamax set from the Lycanroc. And so from here, I'm very determined that I can stall out the Lycanroc. It can max Flare me in the rain particularly well in the Escavalier. With Reflect up and +2 defense on the Dollar, I believe I can take 2, maybe 3 max Rock Falls. And so it has Thunder Wave, which honestly surprised me. But it's, it can be annoying, but we'll see what happens. Max Rock Fall onto the Dollar. I take that. I can take 3 hits from that. And we see that is not a big deal in the slightest. I understand the reason why they wanted to do the Rock Fall, because they wanted to get rid of the rain so that they can max Flare into my Escavalier here, which I understand completely, but, it's not the most concerning thing. So my Reflect wears off, but I have Trick Room up, so now I can Reflect with it before they do anything. And from here, I'm just debating if I want to, Iron Head or Drill Run, so I decided to just Drill Run, or not to Drill Run, because they have a Battery Berry. Iron Head's going to do less damage, so I decided to just Drill Run because it's going to do more damage. Still debating. So the main argument is whether or not I want to activate the Battery Berries, because my Vikavolt has Steel move in the back. It ended up not mattering because I got the full paralysis, but it's worth considering. Okay, get Reflect back up. So like I said, I'm stalling out their Dynamax very well. They cannot do too much damage to my team. And so they max Flare. So this is a 4 times super effective into the Escavalier, and it does just over 50%. That's how good the +2 defense and Reflect me. But in the same sense, as you saw I had Aqua Berry there, I would still die with the second hit, even though I would have taken a lot less damage. So from here, I'm convinced that Iron Head's correct, because I want to get rid of the Battery Berry, because Vikavolt can one-shot Lycanroc with Flash Cannon. And then, so I don't get the full Paris, which is nice. I activate the Battery Berry, so I can Flash Cannon with Vikavolt in the back. And then I try to Psychic the Quillfish, they protected. And here's the second max Flare, it kills Escavalier, unsurprising. And now we're back down to 2v2. I have Reflect up, my Dollar's +2 attack, or +2 defense, and my Vikavolt has not taken any damage. So, and they are no longer have their Dynamax up. So there's 2 turns left of Trick Room, and so I definitely think that there's a chance that they're just going to protect the Lycanroc here, and maybe I should just double up into the Quillfish, but I decide to target the Quillfish and then Flash Cannon into the Lycanroc. This is guaranteed going to kill Lycanroc if it doesn't protect. And that's the reason why I wanted to activate the Battery Berry, because depending on their exact EV spread, Thunderbolt might not have killed. They protect Lightning Bolt, Lycanroc, which is not super surprising. My Dollar gets full Paros. It was a roll for me to have killed the Quillfish if it didn't full para, but then it self-destructs, which definitely makes my heart skip a beat, because this is definitely concerning, but I'm like, I have Reflect up, and yeah, and my Pokemon take it very well. So from here,
Lycanroc is guaranteed to die. This is my last turn of Trick Room. My guess is that they're going to go for the double protect. If they get the double protect, I am probably in pretty bad shape because Vikavolt does not have a protect. They decided not to go for the double protect, which I think is probably a mistake on their end, but I'm happy because I didn't have to sweat through the double protect going on. If they got the double protect, I think I might have lost there. Alright, so we got it. 1-1, going to game 3. I feel pretty good. I think that match I would have completely been able to crush if I would have led Vikavolt instead of Escavalier and Dynamax Vikavolt. So I know what my strategy for game 2 is going, my plan for game 2 is going to be. And so game 2, same exact lead, same exact team. My plan is after I get Trick Room up, Dynamax Vikavolt instead of Escavalier. Because Quillfish getting my Escavalier to -3 attack definitely hindered my abilities to do well. I'm expecting the exact same lead from them. I wouldn't be surprised if instead of Raboot, they brought something like Tapu Koko or Liepard in the back. But I'm expecting the same lead on their side because I think that is definitely the best lead. And so from here, same idea. My guess, based on what they saw last time, is my guess is that they're likely gonna just dual wing break Rock Slide and hope for a crit, not a crit, a flinch on my Dottler, because I think that's probably the best thing. But I literally have one thing to do, which is Trick Room and Rage Powder, and hope that Trick Room gets up. There's not much I can do at this point, other than that. So yeah, but that's kind of the thing. Is I think my guess is going to be dual wing Rock Slide, but they end up Dynamaxing, which definitely surprised me because Dynamax Max Rock Ball from Lycanroc doesn't kill Dottler, and Max Airstream. Oh, yep. So as we see, it's Zapdos Dynamax. The Max Airstream from Zapdos, yeah, it's going to kill Volcarona, but there's a 50% chance to kill Volcarona independent of the Dynamaxing. So it doesn't seem like the best Dynamax in my opinion. So I feel very good at this moment in the game, assuming I don't get flinched by a Rock Slide. And so I die from this. I'm sure the Dynamax guarantees that this is a one-shot when dual wing was a roll, or wing beat was a roll. They get super fast, which is irrelevant because we're going to be in Trick Room in a second. If everything goes according to plan, they decided to Stone Veg, which is good as long as I don't get crit. Don't get crit, completely fine. We get Trick Room up. So I took a lot of damage with my Dottler, but I feel like I'm in a very good space. I have a Dynamax Pokemon that can one-shot their Dynamax Pokemon, guaranteed, because I know their item is a Choice Scarf, and I have Trick Room up. So I just set up Reflect because they have 2 physical attackers and almost all physical attackers in my head. And I'm saying, okay, Max Lightning into Zapdos seems like the best choice. And I'm just debating whether or not I should Max Lightning into it, because whenever they protect to be a really big issue, I decide to Max Lightning Zapdos because I know Zapdos is a Choice Scarf, and that means it's very unlikely to have any move that will give it that can make it protect because of its Choice Scarf. And so that was kind of my decision. I obviously could have killed Lycanroc if it didn't protect, and so, going back and forth, I think that there's a chance I could have targeted Lycanroc, but if Lycanroc protects and Zapdos attacks, I'm in very bad shape, and so I decided Zapdos, least likely to protect, because it has Choice Scarf. And they end up max guarding Zapdos. So if I were to target a Lycanroc, I think the game is over. But now this game is going to be very close and very hard on my end. So we got Reflect up, and they do Stone Edge. Stone Edge definitely does more than I would hope with the Reflect up, but what happens it. So from here, I think I made a misplay. I definitely think the correct decision is to Max Lightning onto the Zapdos, but I believe that the damage from my Psychic on the Dottler is not sufficiently helpful, and I think I should have
switched out Dollar here into Escapular. And so I think this is my misplay of this match, because that little damage is useful, but it does not change any of the rolls. And there's a almost 100% chance they're going to Stone Edge into Vikavolt, so it is a free switch, and the only thing I lose is a little bit of damage. So I killed the Zapdos, guaranteed. I already know that was guaranteed because I know it's not Assault Vest. And then my expectation is a Stone Edge into Vikavolt, which is what happened. It does a lot of damage, but you know, it's fine. I get one more Dynamax attack off. And so now, I'm not sure necessarily what's in the back, but you know, we'll see what happens. I guess I'm expecting Quillfish to be in the back. I'm expecting maybe Liepard, maybe Raboot, maybe Liepard. So it ends up being Quillfish. I don't know much on this Quillfish set. I know it has Protect and Thunder Wave, and Explosion, and I don't really expect to go for Explosion. So so from here it's like, okay, what's the best thing to do? Quillfish should be two-shot by Psychic and Dollar, so it seems like a pretty good idea to just attack there. And I'm just doing some damage calcs to see if Max Still Spike kills Lycanroc even though it has a Battery Berry. That's just what I'm checking. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to Max Lightning. I identify that even even with the Battery Berry, Max Still Spike does kill Lycanroc. It ends up protecting, so it ended up not working. The Aqua Jet gets a crit, which definitely is a little bit sad because with the crit, I cannot take another Aqua Jet when I think I might have been able to take a second one next turn, which definitely is relevant here. So we do quite a bit of damage to Lycanroc, but it definitely it's not the best shape. So I'm at 7. If I didn't get crit, I'd be a little bit over. I'd be at 20 health or so, and I think I might have been able to take an Aqua Jet with Reflect Up and at +1 defense from the Quillfish, and so that definitely is a little bit sad because because now Aqua Jet is just a clean kill on Vikavolt. So the idea is to kill Quillfish here with the Psychic, and the debate is whether or not I should switch out or just let Vikavolt die. I decided to switch out to sort of save Vikavolt, because Vikavolt can be really useful if they don't have spread damage with their back Pokemon. So I take the Aqua Jet, which, you know, I should take it pretty well, as I do. Psychic should kill the Quillfish, and it does, and my guess is it's going to be a Rock Slide. And it is a Rock Slide. Doesn't kill Dollar because of the Reflect, and Escavalier does not take too much damage. So I feel pretty good shape of where I am. And then they bring out Liepard. So I don't feel great about this Liepard coming in, but I feel like I should be okay. I can debate about protecting, but I decided it's not worth protecting because I need Trick Room Up or my Vikavolt is useless in the back. And then I can kill Lycanroc with Iron Head, and I should be able to take a Fire Fang. And I see that they brought Burning Jealousy, which basically makes me believe this game is over at this point. It's really sad. If it didn't had a spread damage move, I definitely think I had this game pretty favorable, or maybe I could win, maybe I couldn't. So we're able to kill the Lycanroc, but both my Pokemon are in range of a Burning Jealousy, and so I just get there. So like I said, I think I had the opportunity to switch in the Escavalier a little bit earlier, which I think would have ended up being more favorable, and this would have been very close, but I think I might have been able to win that one. From here, basically I just need to hope my opponent misclicks, and I go for the double bug move to try to kill Liepard. They correctly click Burning Jealousy and get the win. This ended up being very close. I I think I was a little bit greedy with my first choice. I think I should have let Volcarona Dodler game one, and I think I might have been able to get it with that. But that that ends up. It was a great match. My opponent definitely surprised me hugely game one. I was not expecting the dual wing wake. I completely forgot about that as even existing as a move. And that definitely completely crushed me game one and led the game to be not even close. Game two, I definitely think the game ended up being incredibly close with the triple intimidate on my Escavalier, but I just squeaked by. In game three, if I would have targeted the Lycanroc instead of the Escavalier when they max, or instead of Zapdos when they max guarded, I definitely think I win. But that's a kind of a very much a 50-50 roll. I don't know what the correct play in that turn is, but I definitely think the turn after I should have, I shouldn't have, I should have switched to Escavalier, and I definitely think that is where my misplay was. But overall, it was a very good match. I'm happy with the preparation, and I'm happy with the match. It was very fun.